Hello YouTube. I plan this to be part one of a multi-part series where I show you several ways or several pieces that we're going to put together at the end for one kind of larger application or larger project. So the first piece of the puzzle is going to be looping through multiple workbooks in a folder. I'm sure everyone has had those times when people don't organize things very well, and they'll have many workbooks, and as long as they all have the same format, then that's okay, and we can loop through and pull the data we need and assemble it all in one place. I think this is a common workflow that a lot of people would use, so let's go through it. So I have this folder here called Workbooks, and you can either, I'm going to show you using what's called the folder picker. So you can pick the folder you want to loop through, but you can just as easily have the folder be a string that you actually specify in the code. But let's walk through this. So the first thing we'll need is a folder name as string. So I'm going to say dim path folder as string. We're going to say path file as string. So we're going to have the folder name, and then we'll have the file name. Next, we're going to use, like I mentioned, the folder picker. This isn't the only way to do this, but this is an easy way. So we'll say with application dot file dialog. And you can do this with, so there's several options here, but there's file picker and folder picker. They're both good. We're obviously going to be using the folder picker, and go like close it, and then we'll say end with, and inside here, just to avoid confusion, there is the option to select multiple things. We're just going to set that to false, so there's just one folder. We'll say .show, and then we'll do path. So, and then the folder, and I'll show you how this works, but the folder that you choose, we're going to say that is the path folder is going to be the .selected items, and then one. So that, I think, should work. So if let's test this out. We'll say debug.print, and we'll say path folder. And if we run this, so, oops, there, we're picking the folder, we hit OK, and perfect. So it shows the Workbooks folder. So I think that's working well. You don't have to do this here. You could simply do something like this, where you just said path folder equals, and you just would take this name, right, and put this in a string like this. So this would work too. But next, this is where we are choosing the name of the file, and so we're going to do a function called dir, and it's a pretty handy one, and so we're going to say path file equals dir, and then the path name is going to be the path folder, and then we're going to say and then quotes slash, and let's see, VB read only. Okay, like this. And then, so if we see how this works, it's going to pull the very first file inside of the folder. And so we'll have to do some more to loop through all of them, but just to show you how this works, if we do debug.print and we say print path file, it should report the very first one. So we'll hit F5 workbooks, and so book 1, which is the very first one. So that makes sense. Great. So next, we need to loop through all of the files in here. So we'll say do while path file is not equal to blank. So it's going to loop. So our loop will continue as long as the name is an empty string. And then we're going to open each file that's inside of here. And so we'll say workbooks open, and then the file name is going to be file name equals, and we're going to say equals path file, and then let's see, path folder and the string and path file, and then we'll say update links equals false. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're opening using the workbook.open method with the file name being our path folder and the file name, because as we saw here, it just gives you the book one, it gives you the file name, not the full path. And so we have to join it together, the folder with the file path, and those together should give us a full path for the workbook to open. Then we're just saying update links to false in case there's anything in there, but that's not that important. So then we'll say this is where you would execute, this is where you would pull all your data. We're going to work more with this in a future video, but in between here you do all the pull the data out and stick it maybe in this sheet. We'll work on that later. The next thing, we're going to actually close this, and we're going to say path file, and then we'll say .close, and we'll say save changes equals false. Okay, and then we'll say, okay, then here's the trick with this this dir method. So here we gave it a the folder, and then had the slash, and it chooses the very first one. To get it to keep choosing, to keep going down the list, all you need to do is say path file equals dir, and you don't have nothing, you don't give it any parameters. And then, so if we do this and we loop through this code, I think we have everything we need. And let's say, let's do this. Let's create another so let's say path, just to make this a little cleaner, let's say file full. Or actually, let's call this file name, and then we'll call path. I think this is more clear. Path file is string. Okay, then let's go. We're going to say here, this is going to be the file name, and then next we need to do the path file equals, and it's going to be the path folder joined with slash joined with the file name. And if we comment all of this out just to work with this, so let's do debug, print path file, and F5. Pick the workbook. Oops, delete all this. Okay. Yep, that looks like it's working. Okay, I think that's more clear. So we have path file, which is the full path, and we have just the name, which represents the book1.xlsx. Okay, I think we can get rid of this. Let's uncomment all this out. And then test if this is working. So the file name here is going to be here. This is what makes it a little easier. So we can just say path file. And then we can say path file.close. Save changes equals false. I think, and then we did the path file equals dir, but we'll say that file name equals dir, and then we're going to say path file equals path. Let's copy this part here. There. Okay, so then as we loop through the code, let's do what did I do wrong here? Oh, close out this. There we go. I think that should work. We'll do a debug compile. Workbooks. And then I'm going to put a breakpoint here just in case it runs. Okay. So file name is book1. Path file is the full address. So we're going to open the book1, and then next it should close it. So if we F8, whoops, what do we have wrong here? Do we need this just to be the, oh, this just needs to be the name of the folder, so we'll say file name, or name of the workbook. Okay, then file name equals book2. We don't even need this anymore, but just to show you how that would work, so that would be the full path. You only need the file name. Open book2. This is book2. Close it. New one. Book3. And close it. And now it equals blank. And because it equals blank, it should, see, I made a mistake. This should be do while file name, because the path is not empty. So if we go up here, done, and exit the loop. So I think this will be a very useful tool for everyone to see how you can loop through all of the files inside of a folder, and we'll use this in an upcoming video. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, bye.